What's going on? I make all kinds of noise. I am in Pinchot. We have had some crazy weather the past couple of weeks with heat and rain and smoke from the Canadian wildfires and tornadoes. We had a tornado go by a mile from my house about a week ago. It's crazy. So I haven't really gotten out to camp or backpack or even really hike or anything for the past few weeks. So it's Saturday, it's July 8th. Got out for a little hike this morning and grabbed my gear and decided I'm gonna go camping. I'm just gonna hike. I'm not going really far. I'm not doing the whole Pinchot or anything like that, the whole trail. As you can tell right now, I'm on a forest road and a newly resurfaced forest road. This is really nice. They really do take good care of the roads out here. Now where I want to go is down there. I'm thinking maybe Forgotten Camp or somewhere down in that area, but that road is closed because they're doing work to it. If you watched my Pinchot Trail video from last month, I heard that generator running near those campsites, and I went to check it out and saw that they had a pump going, keeping the water flowing where they were redoing a culvert. So I just came by that parking area that I usually park at there, and they've got a big pile of stone and dirt for the roads, and there's a couple cars parked in there, so there wasn't a lot of room. So I came up here, I don't know, maybe a half mile, 3/4 of a mile up from there, and parked at the first little pull off I saw they get into, and I'm gonna hike back down and head off into the woods. So one of the things I'm doing different on this trip, I got my GoPro mounted here. We'll see. Turn it on. We'll see what the. There we go, right about there. Looks good. So I picked up this mount a couple weeks ago. I got it so that I could have hands-free while I was on some of the more rocky sections, like when we were up in the Catskills or on the AT, and that way I can mount the camera here and still get footage. Excuse me. And it just gives a different perspective of some things like that. So yeah, it's gonna be a cross between GoPro on the mount. I've got my little tripod with me. I put a quick release on it so I can swap them pretty quick, and the phone. So all right, I'm gonna do this road hike, and then what is this? We'll pull off. I don't think it goes anywhere. Let's find out. It's pretty neat. Yeah, and then once I figure out where I'm going, I'll let you know. All right, so here we are at the junction, and this is a ranger. This is a ranger. Let's see here. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. Busy day, huh?
Know where you're headed?
Yeah. Well, I come here all the time. I know where I'm going.
Maybe
No. All right, well, enjoy your day, and hopefully you don't have to rescue anybody.
not. Oh no, we misguided hikers here a little bit ago.
Well, I'm not saying I'm not misguided, but I know where I'm going. Have a good one. So, yeah, so this is the junction. Straight back here is where everybody was parked, and it looks like, according to the ranger, a lot of day hikers. So yeah, but yeah, I'll find a spot. I mean, it's only 20 of 5, so I'll find a spot. I might just go to Forgotten, because I know it's nice and open as long as there's nobody down there, but since you can't really drive down there. So we're at the intersection for the Choke Creek Nature Trail. I know there is a campsite. I don't know, maybe a 1/4 of a mile in there. I've never camped there, but I have gear tested there. This is new, however. This big down tree. What happened here? Where did that come from? That is a big, big tree that came down. Wow. And this is weird. I've never seen this before. So this is, maybe they're getting some kind of invasive species in here. But they'll mow this sometimes. But this, they tilled. They stripped the soil right off there. At least that's what it would appear happened there. Wow, this is a big, big tree, and it looks like an ash. Oh, let's take a look at that. No, it's an oak. Whoa. So that was, you can see down here, this is very, very rotted. So not sure what caused that. Oaks generally haven't been affected by any of the weird animals, insects, and such that we've been having. I'm gonna go right over here. But this is clearly an oak, and this is recent. These trees, or these leaves, or actually, there's no cameras over here. Bear with me as I remember where the cameras. These leaves are still very green. So this just came down recently. I mean, since they cleared that, I would say that's been down less than a week, judging by those leaves. With as warm as it's been. Big oak tree. That's one of the dangers about doing this stuff. Even if a tree looks healthy, it might not be. Like if that was in camp, I would definitely have hung my hammock from that. Heading into Forgotten Camp. And I doubt very much if anybody's been in here since they closed that road. So not many people know where this is to begin with. And even less of those people are gonna walk the mile or so to get back to here. So, and if you're out here backpacking on the Pinchot Trail, this is way off the Pinchot. Way off the Pinchot. You gotta take like a side trail or some old hunting paths to get in here. So let's see. I am fairly certain that is how we left the fire pit. Yeah, pretty sure. All right. I did realize though, while I was walking in here, that I did not bring my tripod. It is in my chest pouch, which I left at the house. I took it off and threw it in my day pack. So no tripod. I'm gonna have to get creative with how I'm recording this. I think I see what I'm gonna do. And then yeah, get set up, because I did bring my, see how I can get you off here easily. There we go. Not so bad. I did bring my bridge hammock. I was gonna bring something different, a Cloud 71 hammock that I was really hoping to use on the last trip that we didn't take last weekend because of mostly because of the air quality and the weather. We wound up going to Hershey Park instead. Did not record that, but it was fun. Roller coasters are always a good time. But I want to take that because it's so light. I want to see how light I get my load out. Even at where I am right now, bringing the bridge hammock, my base weight was, see, I measured it with food and no water, and I was still at 18 pounds. So without the food, and what else I have in there, snacks and stuff, if I take all that stuff out, I'd probably be down around 16 pounds. With the bridge hammock, without the bridge hammock, probably down to like 14 pounds. So pretty good for a base weight. But with all my water, I brought 3 liters of water. I brought some different food, not for patriots. But yeah, I'm gonna get set up. I'm gonna mess around with some tarp configurations. That's really why I wanted to do this, because I haven't really messed around with the big tarp with the bridge hammock, because those spreader bars do cause an issue for the tarps, so especially the Dyneema. So I brought my Sil nylon tarp, my big 1209, and I'm gonna try some different configurations with that and see what I can do, because that hammock is so comfortable. And whenever possible, I think that might be my new go-to, because it is just that comfortable. It's really, really comfortable. So let me get the pack off and get the camera situated. So no tripod. No problem. This is my new mount for the GoPro, and it just has a Velcro band that goes around your shoulder straps, and it's just enough to go around this tree. So I can mount it on there. It swivels a little bit, and it has a quick release. So I might need to secure that a little bit more, but I think that'll work in lieu of a tripod. It got humid. All right, so this is a pretty good setup for the hammock. It barely fits between these trees, but it does fit. So a bridge hammock, the body of the bridge hammock is shorter than a standard gathered end hammock, but the suspension makes it much longer. Now, you don't need a ridgeline on a bridge hammock, but you may be able to tell from the GoPro that there is a ridgeline on that. That I use just so I can keep a constant. Actually, I probably don't even need it with this configuration, because I'm not using the small tarp. The small tarp I connect right to the end, right to the suspension with the hammock, so the length is very important with that. But this, I'm going right to the tree, so it doesn't matter. Because even though it seems pretty nice out right now, we are scheduled to get some rain. They're saying like 9 to 10 o'clock tomorrow, but that could move up. You never know. So bring out my old tried and true Sil nylon, first real 1209 that I made. Needs to be aired out anyway. This tarp has been on a lot of adventures with me, and it's taken some punishment. Well, that'll work. So I'll show you what I got going on here. I got my normal porch mode that I would normally do on this side with my trekking poles. The nice thing about this tarp, and this is the first 1209 I made that had all the tie outs in there. I mean, this thing is 7 years old. I mean, they're completely differently built now, but it's still holding up. I mean, it hasn't leaked, hasn't gotten a hole in it yet, so that's good. But I made the corners and the ridge lines attached cordage just at the tarp, and it allows me to do things like use a stick. Like I'm using a stake here and a stake here because there's a lot of tension on these. But at the corners, I'm just using sticks. Just wedge those in the ground. They don't have to hold real firmly. Just hold it in place. Same thing there. And then like on this tree, on this side, I got porch mode over here. And then I'm using this stick, which is barely holding on, but it comes around the tree, and I just have it, there's a little nub here. That's all I got. I think that's going to hold. I might want to reconfigure that a little bit. That doesn't look too good. And then the stick over here. So not the greatest sticks that I could find, but it does give me some room underneath. And it is helpful that when you get into a bridge hammock, if you're thinking about getting a bridge hammock, or you have one and you haven't used it with the tarp yet, when you get in, as you go to sit in, put a hand on this side too, to try to keep it down. So, because it will kick up. But there's enough room in here now that I'm not worried about it poking through the tarp. So if it wants to rain, it can rain. I'll stay dry. I'm going to finish putting on my quilts, put the bug net back on, and see what time it is. So I got myself a little bit of a new toy here. Let's get this out with one hand. Well, a couple new toys. Could not get that with one hand. So a couple of new toys. So this is my Toaks titanium pot. And what I've been using with this is either my pocket rocket canister stove or the, it's like a Trangia style spirit burner. That one I got, I don't know, maybe a year ago or so. The alcohol stove. I like that stove. I like the concept of it, but I didn't like its efficiency. So what I did, I really liked the efficiency of the cat food can stove, but I don't like having to replace that tomato paste can in the felt so often. So what I did was I went and got myself a new alcohol stove. Well, burner to be precise. So this is really light. This is the Toaks Siphon alcohol burner. Now, I'm pretty sure that this is the same one that Dragon has. I'll get that off. There we go. So here it is right here. It's made by Toaks. And it is just a titanium can, basically. I'll put the weight up and its dimensions. I don't know them off the top of my head. But basically, you just put fuel in the bottom of this. You could use something like heat. I use denatured alcohol, the clean strip denatured alcohol. It's actually designed as a fuel. And I did a little test burn on this, and I realized that it will boil a cup of water in about 4 minutes with a ½ ounce of fuel, and that fuel will continue to burn for another 4 minutes. So I could probably do a cup with a ¼ ounce of fuel with this in about 4 minutes. So that's pretty good. Now, I'm calling this a burner and not a stove because that's all this is just a burner. You'll notice that if, let me make sure this is flat. Flat is it's good enough. If you were to reposition the camera, there's no stand on this. There's no holes. It just burns in the cup. So if you were to put your pot on top of there, you put your flame out. So it is just the burner. To make it a full stove, you need something to, like a pot rest. So I also picked up the Toke's it's a pot stand, and I don't know if I brought the little pegs that go in here. Oh, I'm gonna have to figure something out. I think I left them at the house. I gotta check my bag. So this is 4 pieces that go together, and then you can see these holes. There's 2, they look like little tent stakes that go through these holes that you rest the pot on. I'm gonna have to go over there and look. I don't know if I put them in my fire kit. I don't think I did, and I should have. Let me put this together real quick. You'll see that there's tabs. There's 2 tabs on the end on one side, and then there's 2 slots on the other. So you put those together. So there you go. It's kind of hard without a tripod. It's kind of hard to do with one hand, and I'm using my phone. But you can see you just put the tabs into the slots, and you create that. And if you have the pegs, which I seem to have forgotten, you put those through these holes on either side, and it creates a spot to put your cup on, and it fits right in there. But without those pegs, I'm gonna have to figure something out, because I need this to make dinner. Oops. All right, let me look through my stuff. I may have grabbed them, but I don't remember if I did. They're really light, and when I grabbed all this, I might not have grabbed those. That's gonna suck, because I really like what I brought for dinner. I don't have any no-cook options. And I really didn't want to start a fire because it is warm and it is humid, and I don't need a fire. So let me see what I can do. I'll be back with you. So what I think I'm going to do is just use a couple of my spare tent stakes. It's not the best idea. They won't fit in those holes. They're the tri point, or what do they call those? The triangular tent stakes. So they won't fit in the holes, but I put them on top of the pot stand, and it won't be as efficient. But it's not like I got to boil the water completely, because the water, horsefly, the water, get out of here, horsefly, get the water all came from home, so it's filtered right at the tap. It's as safe as can be. So once I get out to my little walk here, I'll go back and make dinner, and I'll do the same thing for breakfast. It might burn the paint off of the tent stakes, but I think I'll be all right. I've got plenty of tent stakes. It's not like I'm worried about the stakes. But I'll have to make sure when I get home. That horsefly keeps trying to land on my hand, but I've got picker ridden on, and he does not like it. Here you go, land on the camera. Once I get home, I'll take the little pot stand stakes that are supposed to be with that, and I'll put them in my fire kit, because my fire kit comes with me anyway, because that's how I light my stoves. So that would make sense to put them in there. Get. Okay, I'm gonna walk down here a little bit. I'm gonna take a look. Get. Oh my God, these things are horrible. I forgot how bad the horseflies can be out here. I'm gonna take a walk down here and just take a quick look at the construction zone. I'm not gonna climb down her. I know the ranger was seemed a little bothered that she had to keep telling people to stop trying to walk through the construction zone to get to the falls. So don't gotta worry about that with me. I wouldn't try that. I know a lot of other ways to get to that. Horsefly just attacked another horsefly. Oh my God, that's how bad it is here. Okay, I'm gonna pick up my pace and try to get away from these horseflies. So it looks like this spot is probably up next to be ripped out and replaced. So that little path there would take me over to the Butler Run Trail, which take me back down over to the Pinchot, which would get me around this if I wanted to go straight around here. And then the Pinchot Trail comes out on the other side of this. So, yeah, there's no driving through here. But if you're on foot, there is a way to get around. Yeah, last time I was out here, they had this all dug up and they were diverting the water through. Yeah, those are big culverts they put in. Yeah, doing a lot of work. A lot of improvements going on here in the old Pinchot State Forest. Still a beautiful night. Well, I figured when I was out walking around, I would come by this little campsite, and I stayed at this one a few months back. This is the Hines Pond campsite. And these rhododendrons are blooming, and in the sun, it's pretty nice. Now this is a really cool little campsite. Although, oh, it's cushion still there. The pond is not quite so pondy. It's very algae covered and kind of grown in, and that's going to make for a very buggy little area. All kinds of bees in here. Almost thought about coming back over here, but I thought that pond might be a little stagnant this time of year, and I was right. All right, I'm gonna head back to camp and think about making dinner. So not a great solution, but that'll work. So I'm gonna put some alcohol in there, boil up some water, and for dinner, there's my fuel. A little peak refuel. So I brought the chicken Alfredo pasta for dinner, and I did get the breakfast skillet, but that is absolutely humongous. So since I'm not really putting in any miles tomorrow, I figured it'd be a waste to eat that whole thing on just basically exaggerated car camping trip. So I brought some Mountain House biscuits and gravy for breakfast tomorrow. It's a little bit smaller. So it's weird eating food like this here at Forgotten Camp because, you know, usually the car is close enough where you can just bring food in, but not this time. So I'm going to make this up because I am now getting hungry. And all right, so that's what it looks like as soon as you put the water in it. We'll give it about 10 or 15 minutes and see what it turns into. All right, so about 15 minutes later, looks pretty good. Give it a try here. Where's my spork? There it is. Pretty good. Might need to sit for another minute or two. I think it's good enough. It's tasty. Peak makes some really good food. Really good food. All right, I'm not going to make you watch me eat. I'm going to eat this and wait for it to get dark. It's down in the 70s now. It's like 78. I don't have my thermo drop with me. I'm only going by the weather on the phone. It's supposed to get down to the 60s. So I'm hoping it drops quickly now that the sun's going down, because it's too warm right now to be in a hammock. But I'm not going to have a fire, so I'm going to have to get in the hammock whether it's warm or not. So I'm going to eat and then just chill out and wait for it to get dark. I don't know what that is flying over me. I don't know if I can look at it, but it does not sound good. I can barely see it through the trees. It was a small plane, but I could hear. I don't know if that's coming through. I don't know if I could pick up on that or not with the microphone. But like the engine, there was like a rattle to the exhaust or something that didn't sound healthy. Kind of thought it might come down for a second. That wouldn't be good. Hope it makes it back to wherever he's going, all right. Man, I wish I was recording. I am 90% sure that was a bobcat. All right, well, it's just about 20 and 9 right now, and it's still light, but it's getting really buggy out, so I got in a hammock. And that's probably going to be it for tonight, unless those owls come back and let me record them. Or maybe coyotes or whatever it was I heard before I thought was a bobcat. Otherwise, I'll see you in the morning. Good morning. It's I don't know, 10:06, and sun is technically up down that way, but I don't know if it's coming through in the camera. It's pretty foggy, and there's a lot of cloud cover. There is a storm system rolling by to my west, out that way. And it looks like it's going to miss me, but it could just catch the edge of it. So it's not a big storm system, at least not yet. So I'm going to give it a little ways, a little time to pass. I'm just going to stand underneath here and listen to the birds. And then get up when it looks like that storm has gone by. It's close enough, it'll probably get me at the house. I think my house is probably getting rain right now. But staying dry right here. So I'm going to just lay here and listen to the birds a little longer. And I'll get back with you in a little bit. Well, I guess it's time to get out of the hammock. It's 6:45 now. I've zipped the bug net down a little bit so it's easier to get in and out. But what I did last night for my backpack is I hung it from the ridgeline. Now, I mentioned the ridgeline isn't necessarily needed on a bridge hammock, but it is handy for things like that. Because you don't want to hang anything from the bar, because if that puts the wrong pressure on it, it could, with the inward pressure from laying in it, it could collapse the bar, and that would be bad. And out at the end of the triangle would be too close to the edge of the tarp. So I just hung it right there from the ridgeline, and it doesn't put any strain on the hammock. And since the ridgeline's not needed, it doesn't need to be super tight, so it just kind of hangs out there, and it worked perfectly. So the fog is cleared up, but the humidity is way up, way up. There we go, way up. So I was gonna make breakfast here, but that storm cell, the main one, missed me. But there's a bunch of little ones coming up behind it, and they look like they're gonna start catching me pretty soon. So I was gonna pack up and head out, get breakfast at home. That's fine. All right, I'm gonna get packed up. All right, all packed down. Made sure I got everything. And it's getting really humid. So I basically got rid of all my extra water. I've only got water in my Catadine. Not like it got that far to go, or the extra Nalgene water was really heavy, but might as well lighten the load as much as possible. Put my pant legs on, got them tucked into my socks, because I do have to go through some scruffiness here to get back up to the car. And I'm pretty sure my picker ridden has worn off, so might as well put on my permethrin pants. So I'm gonna head up to the car, and I'm gonna have a Cliff Bar just for a quick snack while I'm hiking. Still a little fog over that pond. chocolate chip for breakfast. Gonna go around the down tree this time. See if there's any animals out here in the field. Just spiders. Huh. This doesn't look farmed. That hasn't been planted. Interesting. All right, so back out to Tannery Road. Quite a few cars still there from yesterday. So I wonder if people hiked down towards the falls and camped down that way, down by Butler Run. It is a nice area to camp. All right, made it back to the Jeep. Just 8 o'clock. Turn it off. There you go. Really humid. It's still like in the low 70s, and it's so humid I'm just dripping sweat. It's pretty. I'm glad it's not really warm. Last night, yeah, I'd love to say it was peaceful last night, and there weren't a lot of people, but it was the wildlife. So I know I did a video when I first woke up this morning. I don't know if I covered this or not, but there was something in the tree at the foot end of the hammock, and it either jumped or fell and bounced off the ridgeline. And then later on there was maybe it's the same animal, maybe it threw something off the tree, I don't know, but maybe that or an owl or something was up there, because I moved and it spooked it and it took off, and all sticks and branches and twigs and bark and stuff fell on the bug net or on the tarp. Coyote, at least one coyote, maybe two, ran right past the hammock. There was deer, there was porcupines, I thought I heard bobcat, there was owls, there was like mice or moles or something running around underneath the hammock. It was very active last night, so it was kind of funny. None of it bothered me. It was just kind of cool to hear it all, because without the road traffic down there by that campsite, everything is very active, which is kind of cool to see. So I'm gonna get in the Jeep, probably use the AC, because it's just that humid. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. See you in the next.